In a world where more and more of our devices need to be plugged in and charged all the time, our collection of chargers just continues to increase, and sometimes it can get a little out of hand, especially if you're traveling. That's why it's great that new technologies come out, such as gallium nitrate, or you may have seen it as GaN, which allow these chargers to get smaller and smaller and produce less heat, be more efficient. And today we're going to be taking a look at two different chargers here from VOLTME. We've got a small little plug-in charger here, and then we've got a multi-charger here with some AC plugs and plenty of DC plugs. So we're going to check all these out in this video. Hey everybody, it's Chris from FamilyGeekery, and today we're going to be checking out two different chargers from VOLTME, and the good people at VOLTME had sent these to us to check out and to test and review for you all, so that's what we're going to be doing in this video. Now we've got two different chargers. One is going to be a 30 watt foldable gallium nitrate charger, that's in this box here, and the other is going to be an 8-in-1 portable USB kind of power strip type thing that's going to have some AC plugs in it and then some DC plugs, especially some really nice USB-C power delivery. So we're going to unbox these and check them out and test them out. So let's go ahead and start by opening these boxes up. So we're going to start off with this small one here, this little 30 watt foldable charger. And like I said, VOLTME sent me both of these for review, and as with all my reviews, this video is going to contain my observations, my opinions, and it will be not influenced by the company at all, and no money has changed hands. But looking inside here, we've got a welcome guide. We've got a little thank you for your purchase, and we've got the charger itself. So we've got this little guy right here. Let's unwrap that. And this reminds me a lot of some of the major companies, at least the quality of the packaging reminds me of like Anchor or Ugreen. And look at that cute little guy right here. It's got foldable AC prongs, so that's nice, especially if you're traveling. It's got a single USB-C cable here, and we're going to look at what the outputs are in just a second. But I think inside here, yep, there is a USB-C cable. So this is USB-C to USB-C. It's nice and braided. It's good quality. It's got one of those little Velcro keepers. So everything you would want with a cable. Usually a charger like this, a small charger, doesn't come with an included cable, so it's nice that it does. So let's look at what the output of this USB-C device is. So stamped right on the charger here is all the outputs, and it's nice that they put that there. I was able to zoom in here enough that we can read it. Looks like it's going to be 5 volts at 3 amps, 9 volts at 3 amps, 15 volts at 2 amps, and 20 volts at 1.5 amps. So 30 watts max. That's kind of typical outputs for a 30 watt charger. And to give you an idea of what this thing looks like compared to other chargers you may know, this little 30 watt one here is not much bigger than your typical 5 watt Apple charger. Now that's some of the advantages of this gallium nitrate technology. Instead of using silicone, it's able to get things a lot smaller and keep them cooler and be a lot more efficient in its delivery of power. So if you have any type of device that takes advantage of power delivery over USB-C, then this device is going to be great. Maybe a phone or tablet or even a small gaming device. This is going to be a great travel charger, or just an extra one to keep in the car or in your bag. So let's go ahead and open up that bigger charger, that USB Easy Travel Power Strip, and check that one out also. Alright, so next up we're going to be looking at this guy here, which is the Vito Go Easy Travel Power Strip. And of course in the package was this little user manual, and we're going to refer to that because it does have the voltage outputs of all of our different ports here. But let's take a look at the product first. So this is about what I expected, a little travel charger here with a couple AC outlets on the outside of it. Looks like 3 total, and then all of our DC is going to be on the long end here. And we got 3 USB-Cs and 2 USB-As, so that's a pretty good combination of ports. And of course, if you need more of either of these, that's what you got 3 more AC outlets for, so you can use any kind of charger that you may need, like a laptop charger or something. Looks like we got a decently long cord on here. I'll go ahead and unwrap that in a second. And this popped out the bottom. Let's see what this is real quick. And it looks like a little travel bag. That's nice. So it's just a little pouch, some drawstrings. It's got the VOLTME name on it. So that's kind of neat. Go ahead and wrap this in there. That way you can keep the cord all organized and keep it in this pack. throw that in your suitcase or in your backpack and keep it all nice and tidy. Looks like we also have another cable in here. Let's open that up real quick. Another braided cable. So it looks like it's similar to the other one that we had. And this is a USB-C to USB-C, and it's labeled as 100 watts, which is good. This has, we're going to see, I think, a 75 watt max output, but it's nice to have a cable that is labeled. That way you know that you're going to have at least the full capacity that this charger can deliver. Now, I've had chargers before that were like 100 watt chargers, and the cables turn out to be 60 watt cables, and that's not good, obviously. You're not going to get the full output, so this one, at least you know the bottleneck won't be in the cable. So that's nice. Let's go ahead and keep on unwrapping this guy here, and there's a, like I said, pretty decently long cord, and you got a little Velcro keeper on it also, and that's going to be great for like a hotel situation where you can plug this into the wall. Never use those little silly things that are built into the nightstands. They're never high quality, they're never high output. Plug this into the wall, put this over onto your nightstand, and then charge all your devices from it. So let me unwrap the rest of this, and then we're going to go through the voltage outputs on the DC side. So the charger is labeled here with all the information on it, so it's always with you. But for the purpose of this video, it's a little bit easier to read it right out of the manual. So right here in the English section, we've got the USB-C. We got 3 different ports there, and they're going to do 5 volts at 3 amps, 9 volts at 3 amps, 12 volts at 3 amps, 15 volts at 3 amps, and 20 volts at 3.5 amps. So 70 watts max on those USB-Cs. Now that's if you use any one of them individually. The USB-As are going to be 5 volts at 3 amps, 9 volts at 3 amps, and 12 volts at 3 amps, and 20 volts at 3 amps. So 60 watts max. That's pretty good. And then, of course, they have all the different combinations of USB-Cs with USB-As combined. And you can see that basically just the output of each one, if you start using more than one at a time, is going to go down a little bit, giving you an output total of 75 watts max. And that does match the labeling here when it says 75 watts max. That means, where did it go? Right here. 75 watts, that means that if you're using a combination of all these guys here, that's going to be your output. But remember, of course, you do have this outlet here, which you have 3 of those, and they are 120 volts at 10 amps max. So you can plug basically just about anything in there as long as you're not carrying a full-size refrigerator or oven with you. But you can definitely charge your laptop or CPAP machine or whatever type of device it's going to need to plug into a wall. And it basically gives you a little power strip on the go. So this is definitely a nice little travel charger. Comes with a little pouch. I think the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and test some of these outputs just to make sure that they're doing what they say they're going to do. Alright, so the first test I'm going to do is I'm going to take this travel charger here and just see if the USB-C output on this, how much actually it's putting out, and I'm going to use this EcoFlow generator here as my little watt meter basically. And there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can use a little inline watt meter like this, which you just put this in line with your USB-C cable, and it reads out on here how many watts is being drawn. But in this case, the EcoFlow is actually going to tell me right here how many watts it's getting in as it is charging. Now I'm using this EcoFlow because it has a USB-C input here of 100 watts max, so I should be able to draw into this battery as much as this thing can put out. So I'm going to use the included 100 watt cable here that came with the travel charger, and I'm just going to plug that into any one of these USB-C cords here, and then plug that into the USB-C port. And you can't really see it on here, but there is a little glowing green light right here, a little lightning bolt, and that's kind of neat. And it's going to take a little while for this to ramp up, but you can see it's climbing up here, and it's maxing out, looks like, at 68 watts. So as an advertised amount of 70 watts, I'm going to say 68 watts is good to go, because there's always going to be a little bit of calibration difference, a little bit of loss in the cable, that kind of stuff. So as long as it didn't say like 30 watts, 68 is pretty darn close to 70. So I'm going to say that's good to go. Now, just to see how this gets affected by plugging in another device, I'm going to take a device like this ROG Ally here, and I'm just going to use that as a little dummy load. I'm going to take the other VOLTME cable that came with the other device, and it's not listed, but I'm sure it is at least 60 watts or so. So I'm just going to plug this in to the secondary port and then charge up this ROG Ally. And I'm expecting this to renegotiate, and it is, so it's kind of figuring out what needs to get what. And there it goes, it's climbing back up again, and it looks like we're getting 30 watts over here, and the ROG Ally isn't going to tell us by itself how many watts it's drawing, so I'm going to put this in line. I should have done that before. But let's go ahead and unplug this again. That's going to really upset the charger. And plug it back in. So it's going to renegotiate again. And here we are climbing up again. 20 up to 30 watts. And let's see what the ROG Ally is pulling. And again, this isn't going to be pulling a maximum amount of power. It's just going to be pulling what it needs to charge. And it looks like it's getting 27. Now it's upside down, I apologize, but 27 or 28. So we're getting about, 30 on each device. So about 60 total. So not too bad. Now the book does say here for the USB-C outputs, if you use two of them, so USB-C 1 plus C2 or C1 plus C3 or C2 plus C3, it's showing 45 watts plus 30 watts. So I'm not sure why. I know this thing, the ROG, may not be pulling as much as it could, but just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and swap these around just to see if I can get it to renegotiate. And get 45 watts going into the EcoFlow and 30 watts going into the ROG Ally. And look at that. Now I may have just been lucky, or it may be just a matter of which device gets plugged in first, but we are getting 44 watts there, and we're getting 29 watts going into the ROG Ally. So there we go. So we're getting that full 45 plus 35, or 30, and we're getting that 75 watts basically coming out of here, and I'm happy with that. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the little guy here, and I'm going to plug it right into the travel charger, and I'm going to take my cable going into the EcoFlow, so let me unplug both of these, and just go right into the EcoFlow right out of this little 30 watt block, just to see if we can get the full 30 watts going into the EcoFlow. And there we go, 29 watts. Can't beat that. So now you're seeing the true benefits of gallium nitrate right here in front of you. This tiny little thing putting out 30 watts. This tiny little thing, travel charger wise, putting out 75 watts. And plus it's got all the AC capabilities too. So these will definitely be added to my travel bag for keeping all my devices charged on the go. So now that I've made a nice little spaghetti mess with all my cables, I think we're going to wrap this one up. And let me start off by saying, if you're looking for an alternative to some of the more expensive brands like Anker and Ugreen, then I would definitely check out the VOLTME products on Amazon. I'm going to leave some links down below for both these devices and to their store on Amazon, because they have lots of products and it's great to have alternatives. These things are quality built. I buy a lot of Anker products and these are built just as well as any of them. They come with cables, which are nice, and they come with nice cables at that. Decent length, good quality, full 100 watt capacity on the travel charger. So I'm pretty happy with these products. Let me know if you have any questions. Go ahead and drop them down in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer anything I can. Thank you again to VOLTME for supplying me with these products to test out. I hope that you got something out of this video. If you did, I appreciate a thumbs up. If you want to check out more of my videos, go check out that channel and hit subscribe. But I want to thank you as always for watching, and until next time, peace out and geek out.